Alright/X/. I have a story for you. I've never told this to anyone before, and today, in the hope of getting some answers, I decided to post this on /X/. Be around 2 years ago. Be me, your everyday German fag. Had a group of friends from childhood. Let's call them Rich Fag, a really rich kid whose dad got into the steel business and made it big. Black Fag, a white kid who really wanted to be black, but was still fun to hang out with, and Nerd Fag, the title is self-explanatory. As kids, we all had one common interest, fucking Scooby-Doo. So, when we got older, we were seriously into haunted houses. Since we lived in Germany, Berlin at that, we had plenty of abandoned World War II places, battlefield sites, and a shitload of haunted legends. We all practically grew up getting the shit scared out of us. So, after we graduated from high school, Rich Fag invites us on a trip around Europe. None of us are as rich as him, so he practically finances the whole trip. To be honest, none of us wanted to take a handout, but we were all as close as family, so we said thanks and went with it. We went to Amsterdam first. We saw tons of haunted places. One particularly memorable one was our trip to Beardsley Castle. The place was a fucking joke. Remember, we grew up sneaking into abandoned World War II bases, so nothing practically scared us. After a bunch of visits to different cities, we decided to go to Prague. Czechoslovakia is pretty famous for its hauntings, but to be honest, we didn't really see anything special. In the end, Black Fag, who spoke Slovak, told us about this really haunted place, Houska Castle. Since we had nothing to do till we were set to go to Kiev, we decided why not. The place, for those of you who don't know, is surrounded by a huge ass forest, so Nerd Fag suggested that we camp out there. We were all really into the prospect, so Rich Fag got us some camping supplies and we were on our way. But, it turned out that the castle was apparently blocked off by the government. Being the idiots we were, we decided to sneak in at night. After sneaking in, we thought of immediately going to the castle, but we decided to march on deeper into the forest to make sure any patrols didn't catch the smoke from the campfire. I remember that after an hour or two, we came across a big-ass gate. Literally, one of those fancy old ones that were just lying in the middle of the forest. It looked old, and it definitely wasn't iron because it would have rusted. We took a bunch of pictures and decided to move on. Now here is where it starts to get weird. As we kept moving on, we kept hearing noises. At first it was the wind rattling the bushes and the sound of the leaves. We had been doing this nearly our entire lives, so this didn't even scare us. Then, the wind starts blowing really bad, and Nerd Fag suggests that we ought to set up camp. We all listen and do our best to set up camp while the wind is fucking everything over. Then, all of a sudden, it suddenly stops. Literally, all noise just stops. Still not freaked out but noticeably alert. Rich Fag pulls out his gun, don't know how he has one, and Nerd Fag pulls out a book and some salt. Yeah, we had these contingency plans just in case. Black Fag, easily the most fearless of us, decides that we need to take advantage of the wind and set up camp. Forget everything and we all help him. Eventually have everything set up and we all decide to retire for the night. I had some shit-tier nightmares that night. I can't remember what they were, but holy shit, I woke up covered in sweat. Wake up, get dressed and get outside. Everyone, excluding Black Fag, looks like shit. Rich Fag pulls out his GPS and tries to find the castle. Then, the worst possible thing happens. GPS not working. We all panic and reach for our cell phones. Dead. That's not fucking possible. We charged them before coming up here. We're all pretty alarmed. We're not scared of too spooky for me ghosts, but survival in the wild. We all decide to pack up and try and retrace our steps. While doing this, we end up more lost than when we started. Panic is beginning to set in, when we hear something loud behind us. All of us are on edge, so Rich Fag whips around holding his gun and shouts, "Come on out." At his command, a guy comes out of the forest, surprising us all. He's holding his hands up but he looks majorly annoyed. He looks at us all pretty angrily and asks us, "What are you people doing here?" The way he said, "you people" was pretty weird thinking back on it. Also, to describe him, he looked weird. He looked around 6'1", had white skin and was wearing the weirdest clothes ever. He was wearing a bloody cloak. The weirdest thing was that he had a perfect face. Like, the kind you see in magazines, literally perfect. Not a single acne mark or flaw. He didn't even look human. The guy looked pretty mad. Black Fag, who by the way was not just a wannabe black guy in appearance, took offense to this. Now, a little backstory here. Black Fag was a wannabe alpha. He got beat up a lot because he didn't know when to shut up. So, he started learning some martial arts or something, can't remember, and he eventually became the toughest motherfucker around. This made his attitude worse because now he could back up his threats. Black Fag goes up to the guy and is nose to nose with him and calls him a bitch and asks him what the hell he's doing here. Cloaked Fag looks annoyed now. Just before a fight can start, Rich Fag puts on his ass-kissing face and gets between them. He settles the situation and asks him who he is. The guy doesn't respond but looks much less annoyed. He tells us that we really should leave. We're a bit relieved and ask him how to get out of here. At this he nearly jumps back. You mean you don't know how to get back? We all tell him that we're lost. He looks completely paranoid now. We all ask him what's wrong with him. The guy's face shifts back to what it was before and he tells us that we should do our best to find our way out. We're all confused as fucking Black Fag, who seems more pissy than usual, tells us that he doesn't like the guy. When we ask him why, he just says, "Ya no man, just something wrong with him." He starts to leave the way he came. The guy is seriously fast. Weirdest thing was, he wasn't even running, he was just gone. We chase after the guy asking for help but he's already gone. Eventually we decide to screw it and go back to trying to get out of the stupid ass forest. As the sun goes down, we decide to set up camp again, but we're out of butane so we can build a fire. When nighttime comes, things get weird. We're all trying to sleep but we all keep hearing sounds and noises from the forest. They sounded weird. They sounded weird alright. Like the sounds of a fight or something. Lots of groaning and shouting. And weird shouting, not the human kind. The wind is seriously strong but the trees don't seem to be moving much. Black Fag convinces us to go investigate. For the first time, we're a bit cautious but we grab the gun, a torch and some other shit and head towards the noises. As we head towards the noise, we start feeling really creeped out. And trust me, we haven't felt this kind of feeling since we were 12. Nerd Fag seems to be getting the worst of it. He's clutching his Quran and reciting the Durud Sharif. As we get closer, the air seems to be ice cold, something that definitely should not be happening in June. And then, when we get to where the noises were coming from, there's nothing. Just an empty clearing. We're all relieved that the noises are gone, but then a shiver goes up our spine and we all turn around. No, seriously, we turned around like some synchronized dance move in a Bollywood film. Just as we move, something quickly darts out of our vision. Gun Fag, in his eternal wisdom, whips out his gun and fires 3 rounds. That breaks the spell and we all ask him what the fuck. He tells us that he saw something white and on all fours move way too fast. We all say we should move back to the campsite and sleep, even Black Fag agrees. One issue though. We couldn't find the campsite. Okay, time to panic.jpg. That was not fucking possible. We made sure to walk in a straight line and keep track. Everyone is blaming each other, something was wrong guys. We were honest to goodness brothers, we never did this before and one time we got trapped in an abandoned World War II base. I didn't feel right. Still, I managed to bring everyone under control and we managed to find a clearing where we can at least rest. Now, we pick watches, I get first watch and so on. But, Rich Fag seemed oddly angry to part with his gun. As I took the first watch, I couldn't help but look up. There was barely any moon but the amount that there was seemed to completely be blocked out by the forest. Another weird thing was that the trees seemed to be curving inwards. Like, they were trying to contain us or something. When my watch came to an end, I woke up Nerd Fag and handed him the gun. I fell asleep pretty easily, considering the circumstances. I had more nightmares that night but nothing compared to being woken up by Black Fag's screams. I wake up and Black Fag is ranting like a Inigo. Shit, he's angry. Gif. I ask Rich Fag, who looks pissed, what's going on? He tells me that Nerd Fag never woke him for his watch. He was gone, we couldn't find Nerdfag. We did however, find the gun, empty. We're all pretty angry / worried / creeped out. We looked for Nerdfag but it looked like he just vanished. No footprints, nothing. We're pretty sure that he took the bullets for some reason, because the sound of a gunshot would have woken us all up. While we're calling for him, we find another stranger. This time it's a chick. And I'll be damned if it isn't the hottest girl we've ever seen. Literally flawless face, and is wearing a cloak very similar to the one we saw on that guy earlier. She seems to be pretty pissed at us for being here in general. When we explain that we're lost, her face becomes white. She doesn't reply after that and asks us, and I shit you not, has one of you gone missing? We're all alarmed by that. Black Fag, Nerdfag's best friend, is about to kick her ass. He starts screaming at her and asks her what she knows about Nerdfag. We try to calm him down but he rushes at her, intent on kicking her ass. Then, the weirdest thing happens. The girl doesn't even react but catches Black Fag's punch and kicks him straight in the nuts so hard we hear something snap. That should not have been possible. Black Fag is buff and fast as fuck, no person should have been able to catch his punch. It's at that moment, I think that we're not dealing with a person after all. She looks a bit pissed but just walks off while we tend to Black Fag. Rich Fag chases after her but comes back without a clue to where she went. Then, while we're still looking for Nerdfag, we find our old camp. And guess who's just sitting opposite the remains of the fire? Fucking Nerdfag. When he stand up so we can see him, he has this weird full face smile on his face. Like a Cheshire grin or something. First thing we feel is relief that he's fine, the second is anger. We're all pissed at him for walking off but he apologized profusely, saying he had to use the facilities, we're pretty sure he meant toilet, and found the camp. When we ask him about the ammo in the gun, he's surprised and for the first time, that creepy smile drops. He tells us he doesn't know what we are talking about and we agree, after a heated conversation, to drop it. We start making plans on how to get out when Nerdfag starts giggling. It starts as a chuckle but then becomes a full-blown laugh. We're all a bit creeped out and Black Fag, fearless motherfucker he is, asks Nerdfag what's wrong with him. He just says that he was in remembrance. We're a bit confused but Nerdfag has always been a bit weird. We don't want to leave the camp, so when night falls, we just stay here. Later that night, Rich Fag and Black Fag wake me. They're saying that something's wrong with Nerdfag and we need to go out and check what's going on. I suspected it too, so after a conversation on what to do we decide to go outside and look around the camp area, but we'll keep track this time to avoid getting lost. We all head out, and make sure not to disturb Nerdfag in his tent. As we head out, the air gets chilly again and it's literally freezing cold, like, we could see our breath cold. Then, it hits us. It's a smell. A smell that Black Fag tells us he recognizes as the son of a butcher. The smell of dead meat. We follow Black Fag and his super sniffer nose. What we find nearly kills us. It's Nerdfag, although the body looks like it was torn apart. What even worse is that God guys I'm sorry but this is difficult for me to write, he was my bro you know. His body is infested with maggots. It looks like it's been dead for ages. His copy of the Quran is however, placed upon a tree stump that is next to him. We did what anyone would do. We all puked. After some sobbing and shouts of Jesus, we run from the scene and get to a clearing. We're all hysterical. Then, Rich Fag looks nearly apocalyptical. I ask him what's wrong, apart from the obvious. He then says, if that was Nerdfag, then who's back at camp? Oh shit. We all freak the fuck out. Nerdfag was our primary spirit expert and shit. He's not around anymore. As we begin to shout at each other, Black Fag, in the middle of one of his rants, just stops. Just as we're about to ask him what's wrong, he points directly ahead. It's Nerdfag. Or rather, what looks like Nerdfag. It's not smiling anymore. Rich Fag pulls out his empty gun and points it. The thing then puts on this completely inhuman smile, like ear-to-ear, face-ripping smile and begins to make grunting noises. I didn't recognize them then, but those were the same noises we heard when we first left our camp. We're all shaking and then, When Black Fag shouts run, we don't hesitate. As we run, we make sure to stick together. I could honestly feel the thing behind us, it was chasing us. We could barely see, and when Black Fag tripped, me and Rich Fag slowed down to help him up, but in the meantime, the thing was right above us. It had literally jumped 5 feet in the air, and in one motion, hit me right in the chest. I later found out that that one blow nearly crushed my rib cage, broke 4 ribs and nearly killed me. I don't know how far I was flung, but I blacked out after that. In the end, I woke up, battered and bruised in the arms of that guy we met. The only thing I remember before passing out again, was the guy whispering words and chanting, while all I remember was his face and a bright light. I woke up in the hospital in Prague. The officers had found my body, on the verge of death on the edge of the forest. No one else was found. We went in the forest on 5th July. They found me on September 18th. We only spent 3 days in the forest.